Okay, I find this a really useful way of being able to find a little bit of space in the back of the rib cage as well as in the back of the pelvis, but without really necessarily making a huge effort about it, being able to flop and drop into a safe space that's supported, that helps us to connect with the pelvic floor, helps us to connect with the spaces in the back of our two main bony structures in the body. Okay, so coming down onto the bolster like so, and the bolster is really supporting me, so that if we think about this space up here between the shoulder blades, I think of this as the back of the heart space. Okay, and if you think of the sacrum, the lowest bone in your spine here, as being heart-shaped, it's not exactly, but it's helpful to have this image and think of the back of that heart space. Then let that whole back of your pelvis kind of move and open a little bit with each breath, in the same way as that we're creating space in the heart. So we can come underneath, we're going to have elbows underneath our shoulders, our palm facing up, our head is supported. Just start to find your breathing. Don't have to make any specific effort initially on how to breathe and where to breathe. Just let your body find its position a little bit. So I'm gonna just start, now that I've kind of relaxed a little bit into it, I've found myself, I'm gonna press my left elbow a bit more into the ground. And I'm just gonna see what space that has created. And as I've done that, I've ever so slightly held awareness of my sternum, my breastbone, turning a little bit towards this left elbow. And I'm going to make my out breath now really long. Connecting my lower ribs towards my pelvis. So there's a couple of extra things that you can add into this. One is a block here on your lower ribs. Explain that in a minute. I'm actually just going to get a book. That's going to be underneath my knee on this left side, so that I'm effectively shifting the left side of my pelvis back. I'm going to pop it just underneath where that left knee would be. I'm going to position myself back in. I'm going to sit here and go, find that low out breath and just position this in a way. Okay, right. So now I've shifted my left side of my pelvis back up a little bit, okay? And I can create a squeeze on the bolster with my knees as I breathe. Just getting used to that again. I'm actually going to angle this so that my leg is part of what now that's a really great position, because this edge of the bolster on this side is wedged between my leg and kind of my tummy. So, and this edge up here is going into the cushion. So it's the flat part on my ribs, and there's a little bit of give. So I'm definitely held in place, but there's a little bit of give. I'm going to keep that as a reference of bringing my left ribs down towards my right pelvis. And as I breathe out, I'm pressing my elbow into the floor, turning my sternum a little bit, and creating space in the back of that left heart space to breathe into. And I'm going to release my knees. As I breathe in, I'm going to release my knees. I'm visualizing the space in the heart space of the back of the pelvis, as well as the heart space between my shoulder blades. And as I breathe out, I'm going to squeeze the boulder a little bit. I'm going to squeeze with my knees and my elbows, turning my hands out. So you can start to make this a really dynamic way where you're breathing in, you're dropping your knees and your tension in that grip. And as you breathe out, you're really squeezing in, breathing into the heart space. And there's one more thing that you can add in this, and you don't have to combine the other parts. Once you've gotten a little bit more movement through all those spaces, just pressing your head a little bit into the bolster as you breathe. So you're using the neck position as well. You can look towards the bolster, so you're using your eye positioning. Relax your neck, look up to the opposite corner with your eyes, so you're not really moving off. Look up left into the left corner as far as you can. Try and hold that. Breathing out, connect your ribs. Really noticing how much, as you move with your breath, your eyes want to shift. And they're trying to find that safe point. They're kind of looking. It's just holding it, letting your body know that it's okay, that it's safe. And then as you sit up, really letting, I've just caught myself being tipped forward. So just letting myself come back onto my sit bones on my heels. And again, this is a really great position to start to feel the pelvic floor. And it can be as simple as being here and just being in this wide position for your in-breath and then squeezing for your out-breath. Breathing in, really letting your pelvic floor kind of be in contact with the bolster. Breathing out, feel the low ribs kind of draw in as the knees draw in, and that's creating this lift of the diaphragm that pushes the air out, and the pelvic floor mirrors that. So you're both coming up. And then you're breathing in and you're letting it go. You don't have to get completely into this movement. You can exaggerate it and then shorten it down. So there's lots of different ways that you can play with finding your breath, finding your pelvic floor, and finding those different heart spaces in the big bony structures of the body.